for my wife in Santa Fe. He looked at me and said, good trade. Anybody else have a question?
Got a question here, right here.
Yes, son. Why do they call them Mustangs? Because the Spanish people who were in that area, that meant stray. Mustang means stray. And these horses were stray horses, so that's why the name. And when the Americans got there, they couldn't say Mustang, but they could say Mustang. Okay? Very good question. Yes, honey. How heavy is it?
Look at him.
You can't pick her up. Actually, how heavy are you? 40 pounds? She probably weighs about 1,000 pounds. Do you want me to tell you how old you are? Come here, let me see your teeth. Yes, dear.
How many horses have been adopted?
How many horses have been adopted? Well, since 1976, when the Bureau started the adoption program, 238,000 horses have been adopted. That's a lot. Since I've been doing my shows up here, I have found homes for about 50 horses. Now that don't seem like much when there's over 70,000 still out there, but you know how you eat a grizzly bear? One bite at a time. Yes, honey.
How many horses do you have?
How many horses do I have? I personally have 9 horses at home. Okay, very good. Let me see what I've got up here. This matches your shirt. Okay, there you go. All right. Yes.
How many Mustangs you got?
How many Mustangs I got? I got 5.
You got 5?
5 Mustangs. Let me catch up on all my gifts, and
Can I have one?
then I'll answer some more questions. We like gifts here. You want these? I'm a nice guy. You don't think so, do you? All right. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. What's the process of getting one? Well, basically, if you can walk and chew gum, you can have one of these horses. Okay? The big thing is you've got to have at least a 6-foot high pen when you first get them, because they're wild. If you can imagine a deer in your kitchen, that's how wild they are. But after you get them calmed down and get to where they bond with you, then you can put them in just a regular, pasture. Now, this little horse runs. She's the one that we have for adoption here, and she runs now with all my other horses without any problem at all. And ma'am, I've got a special gift for you, but I need you to come up here and get it and play Vanna White. Okay. You want me to tell them how old you are? Let me see. You're 82. Now, this is a poster that we have several others over here. If you want one, you can come and see us after the show. But your poster is going to be very, very special because I have a big sponsor. Have you ever heard of a company called McDonald's? Okay, all right. There's one in every town almost. Okay, they've been my sponsors for 10 years. I'm going to autograph this poster, and I'm going to date it. And you can take that poster into any McDonald's. It don't matter where. Show them the poster, show them where I signed it, and for $1, get you a glass of sweet tea.
How long on average does it take to channel one?
How long on average does it take
Just to channel it down?
Well, it just depends on you and your approach. I can give them in 2 or 3 days. I can catch them and they can come up to me and all this. And it's not how long you spend with your horse, but how well you spend the time you have. You know, and one of the things, like, you know, people say, well, how do you teach her to step on a teeter-totter like that? Well, all I want her to do is when I ask, she moves her feet. Okay. Now, when I first introduced her to this, I don't have it on a pivot, and so all I want her to do is try to step on it. And once she tries to step on it, it's just like this here box right here. If I ask her to come over here and step on this box, the fact that she's trying, that's all I want her to do is to try. Okay, and if she does that, I quit. Because, I mean, it's, you know, when yeah, well, I want to try. It's not the act of stepping on the box, it's the willingness to step on the box. Because a lot of times I can't fully explain to her what I want her to do. But as long as she's willing to try, that means a lot. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay. Yes, son. Have I ever been bucked off? I have fell off of a couple of horses. You never asked a cowboy to get bucked off. Actually, though, at my age now, I mean, now when I was your age, there wasn't anything with hair I wouldn't ride. Whether it be a pig, a calf, a horse, it didn't matter. When I was growing up, we rode everything. I mean, and you know, but as I've gotten older, the last time I fell off a horse, I just kind of spread out. I didn't move. I didn't bounce back up, and that was an eye-opening experience for me. So I don't like to get on horses. You know, I mean, you know, every once in a while they are going to kick up when you're young and just starting out. But I don't do like I used to. When I was your age, we'd get a horse in a pen like this. Within 30 minutes from the time I got it, I'd have a saddle on it, and I'd be trying to get on that horse. Because I was going to ride that horse or else happened an awful lot. I have been, yes. Yes, Steve. Where do I get them? From the 10 western states where we have them. Do you want me to name the 10 states? Okay, you need to hold up your hand like this and drop your fingers when I name the state, okay? We have Oregon, Idaho, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, California, Wyoming, Montana. Is that 10? Utah. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Don't put me on the spot like that. Yes, sir.
You said a while ago it's pretty easy to adopt one. My family is into pet rescue, and I mean there's a form you have to fill out and to pay a fee, which is the shots and stuff. Is it really that easy?
It's pretty easy. I mean, to adopt one of these horses, it's $125. It has been $125 since 1976. You can adopt two for $150.
But you do have to fill out forms.
You do have to fill out forms, yes. No background check, no. But now they are subject to field visits. Okay, and believe me, over the years, I've been doing it for 15 years, I've actually picked up horses. Yes, sir.
I've seen wild horses in South Dakota and North Dakota. You didn't list either one of those.
Okay, those horses that's in South and North Dakota, there's one of those mean helicopters. Those horses there are in sanctuaries.
Okay.
They are not wild horses. Because anytime you go out in the field and honk your horn and horses come running, they're not wild horses. I mean, something needs to give away when you do that. I mean, and I point this out, the last wild horse roundup I was on was in the state of Oregon. And the day before I went out there, we were gathering 400,000 acres. We were going to gather about 1,200 horses. I drove 138 miles around that HMA. Saw 7 horses. That's all I saw all day. The next morning, the first flight over in the helicopter, we counted 1,131. So these horses are wild, and I can't stress that enough. You know, now, like every other animal, like in that picture I've sent around, those horses are after water. So they lose a lot of their wildness when they're hungry or thirsty. But if everything goes well, you don't hardly ever see them. Now those horses you went to saw in the sanctuaries, they're used to people. Okay, so when you go out there, they see that, they come running to see what's going on. But that's not typical wild horse behavior.
We saw them in national parks. Is that those supported horses?
No.
But they're not wild.
They're not wild. They are feral horses.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand
Like
the
here
difference.
in Missouri, we have a herd of barrel horses over around Eminence.
Right.
Really?
Anybody else have a question? I need to show you a couple more things. Yes, dear.
You talked earlier about is there
Okay. What she was referring to was a little bit earlier when I said that when I'm sitting on the horse's back or anytime, I don't really worry about their head moving back and forth because it's like me. If I'm standing there and somebody makes a sound over here, I'm going to look. I don't expect my horse to do any less or any more than what I would do, but I don't want her to move her feet. And she wanted to know, how do I teach her not to move her feet? Well, every time she does move her feet, when I don't ask her to, I ask her to do something that she knows to do. Like if I ask for her head. She knows to do that, so I get her mind off of her feet and onto her head. Did you see how she gave it to me? Now, she was in her mind. She's thinking, "What does he want me to do?" Now I can pull her head around, but I haven't taught her anything. I haven't taught her anything. I mean, I can pull her head around, but if I ask. She learned and some people say watching me train horses is like watching paint dry. Because it really is. I mean, I reward the slightest effort. And from doing things like this, you can get some pretty cool things out of these horses. You almost couldn't make it. See, and then, someone said, well, why do you want a horse to get up on a big box like this? Well, it's pretty cool. Plus I'm an old man. When I get ready to trim her feet, it's so much easier for me to trim them up here than it is to bend over. I want you to step off slow. Pretty slow. And one more thing, she's not been doing this real well, but we're going to see if we can get on this little small. We're going to ask her to step over this little small. She did a really good job. She tried. That's all I wanted her to do is try. Okay, that's good.
How often do you start a new one?
How often do I start a new one? Well, I've been pretty busy, and I really don't do an awful lot. I have a very distinct honor. I serve as chairman of the National Wild Horse Advisory Board, and so I've been gone an awful lot with that. But this year I have trained 10 county herds, and I found home for all 8 of them and the 2 that we have. Okay, she's not wearing a bridle. That's a halter.
Bridle.
Actually, and it's one of those things. I ride all my horses in this in a rope collar. If I can't control her in a rope collar, I don't be on the back. Now, if I'm got one of my other horses that I'm doing cattle work in and a pen or something, I will put a snaffle bit in because I can be a little bit more exacting on my cues. But if I'm out trail riding or just out checking cattle, I can do just as much with this rope halter as I can with anything else. And it goes to the point to where, I like to be as light as I can. And it isn't the fact that putting a bit in her mouth. I can. That ain't no big deal, and I can ride okay with it. But it goes back to I had a friend one time that was an old horse trainer that helped me when I was young. And I had this horse, and I was young. Like I told that young man over there, it wasn't paying any attention to me with that bit. So I called him up and I said, Cam, tell me this. I said, I got this horse that I can't control. What kind of bit do you think I need to use? And he didn't hesitate. He told me exactly. He said, you need to use a bit more time. and so I think a lot of folks want to cheat the experience. And the thing is, this horse's willingness to do what I ask means a whole lot more to me than me making her do what I want. Because the minute I make her do and I quit applying that pressure, she's going to revert back to the way she was prior to that. But if she does it because she's willing, that's never going to go away.
So if somebody adopts